Hello, I'm yet another poser on the internet who's ripping off Doug Walker's beloved internet reviews. By 2015, there'll be so many of us, our combined mass will be enough to create a supermassive black hole which will consume us all. But that's in a few years, so let's spend a few moments talking about Australian cinema. From the first feature-length narrative film to the insanity of Baz Luhrmann, Australia has enjoyed a long and colourful film history. But not many Australian films are released in the US. This means that American and Canadian schlock fans can't enjoy some of our trashier films. Films like, for example, in the 80s, Mad Max rip-offs were coming in thick and fast, and Dead End Drive-In is considered one of the better ones. According to the back of this DVD cover, Dead End Drive-In is Quentin Tarantino's favourite movie, by director Brian Trenchard-Smith. Now this may sound impressive, but when you consider some of the other films Brian Trenchard-Smith has done, well, there is some reason for alarm. But who knows, maybe I'll like it. Let's watch Dead End Drive-In. When the movie begins, we discover a large portion of Tahiti has been destroyed. Which is weird, because this movie takes place entirely in Australia. We also discover that there have been race riots in South Africa. That's never really brought up again either. Yeah, right. We start the movie properly by meeting our protagonist, Jimmy. Jimmy is meeting up with his girlfriend, Carmen, when all of a sudden, they're attacked by a group of thugs.
Come on, boys!
Oh, did I mention that this movie is set after the apocalypse? Yeah, you can tell by the way they have the time and the money to explore new fashions.
I want your fucking shoes!
He seems threatening. What's he going to do?
Woo! Guys, let's go! Let's go! Go!
Leave at the first sign of trouble and never be heard from again.
See you Thursday.
Okay.
Okay. We then go on to meet Jimmy's brother Frank, who wrestles with gangs over spare car parts, and their mother. The next 5 minutes of this movie does a very good job of establishing the relationships between these characters, which is a little disappointing because they too disappear from the movie and are barely mentioned again. The next day, Jimmy decides to take a drive through an abandoned railway station, and you guessed it, attacked by thugs. What happens when they attack a car that doesn't have convenient handholds all over it? For those of you who are keeping score at home, this is the third time he has been attacked by a group of random thugs, and we're not even 15 minutes into the movie. Yes! Attack an armoured car speeding at 65 kilometers per hour with a 2x4! That'll work! The point of this scene seems to be to establish that this is a post-apocalyptic world. You know, just in case the smoking husks of cars, the 5 minutes of title cards, the ninja star-throwing lunatics, bloody car crashes, the extensive news report on rioting, and the violent car thieves weren't clues enough. And in case you're wondering what happens to the thugs? Anyway, we finally get to the actual plot of the movie when Jimmy and Carmen go down to the local Star Drive-In. Our hero pretends to be unemployed in order to get better tickets. Halfway through the movie, 2 of Jimmy's wheels are stolen, and he discovers that the police are responsible. When Jimmy reports the theft, he makes an alarming discovery.
Aren't you going to make a report? Hey, mister! Aren't you even going to write it down? I know who took them.
In the morning.
Wait a second. What the fuck's going on? What do you want meal tickets for or blankets? We're leaving. Today.
Not getting through to you, am I, son? You're here. Until the government decides what to do with you.
That's right. The Star Drive-In is actually a concentration camp for unemployed teenagers. Okay, there are 3 problems with the government's evil scheme. 1. If they hate unemployed people so much, why don't they just kidnap them from the dole office? 2. Wouldn't the public start to notice if teenagers began disappearing from drive-ins? 3. If this really is a concentration camp for violent hoodlums, then why the hell is it still operating as a drive-in? Why are you exposing innocent customers to people like this? When they go down to the diner to have breakfast, they discover that the government is controlling what they eat.
Orange juice, easy sea burger.
We don't do orange juice, love. Lemonade, Fanta, Pepsi. And thick shakes. Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla.
Basically, they have no choice but to eat junk food and watch bad Australian movies. What complete losers. Anyway, Krabs is exploring the drive-in by himself when he... What the hell was that? I'm sorry, could we watch that moment again? Still don't see it? Look closely. Why is there a man in a banana costume in a concentration camp? Look, I know it's the future, the time where we have all these crazy fashions, but this is really pushing it. Later on, Jimmy decides to introduce himself to his fellow inmates.
Jimmy, they call me Krabs.
Why would they want to do that?
I thought I had him once. I didn't, but it's sort of stuck.
Oh, and I'd also like you to meet my girlfriend, Oozing Pustules. Jimmy decides he's going to escape and decides to enlist the help of the other prisoners.
What's so fucking great about playing 2 up in the shithouse and hanging around a drive-in all day? That's pretty fucking dumb if you ask me.
Well, we didn't ask you, pal, but since you're interested, I was 4 years out of work. They stopped my dole. I had nowhere to go, 1 meal a day if I was lucky. And one night a bunch of us stole a couple of cars and come here. And you reckon that was dumb?
That's actually pretty clever. Well done, movie. The next day we get another random fight scene when Krabs jostles a man playing cricket and they get into a cricket bat duel. I'm not sure whether we can count this as the 4th time he's been attacked by a completely different group of thugs, as his opponent in this case is just one person. Anyway, back to the plot. Oh wait, we have another subplot. The government has added Asians to their list of undesirables and has decided to ship a large group of them to the drive-in as well. Now, before I say anything else, I'd like to mention that Asians have often been persecuted by the Australian mainstream and that their sufferings are frequently overlooked by our culture. So why am I objecting to this? Because it's the last 30 minutes of a film. You can't add on a moral that has nothing to do with anything else and expect it to stick. And do you know what else is terrible? Killing whales. Killing whales is bad. And with just 30 minutes left in the film, how are you going to explore this issue in depth while still finding room for an exciting climax?
Why be scared of them?
They could rape me or anything. If you're a man, you do something about it.
Listen, they're not the enemy.
By having the protagonist say that racism is bad. That ought to convince all the racists in the audience.
Yeah, well, something ought to be done.
They should all be sent to a Wait. Anyway, Jimmy finds his chance when the police arrive to deliver cocaine. Remember, he's trying to escape from this camp. And he steals a police car. And so begins an exciting car chase where the police are powerless to stop a man who has just got his P-plates, despite living in a world where Mad Max-style car chases are common. Or maybe there are Mad Max-style car chases all over the place because the police are incompetent. And in any case, it's hard to follow Jimmy because he doesn't seem to be heading in any particular direction. His goal seems to be to smash into as many things as possible. This concentration camp has everything.
Shit, we're on fire!
Oh shit. We are going to die. And that's why we no longer build cars out of nitroglycerin. Long story short, Krabs crashes his car and is forced to find a new one. On the way, he runs into his girlfriend. Actress Natalie McCurry provides us with some truly awful acting as Carmen in this scene.
The cops are after me. I'm getting out.
It's me. I'm the Bay Harbor Butcher.
I got the results of a test back. I definitely have breast cancer. In the end, Carmen decides to stay in the dead-end drive-in while Jimmy decides to make his escape, so they break up. In all seriousness, I admire how this movie shows two young people in love who are separated by the directions they want to take their lives. It's a detail many romance movies ignore. Jimmy steals a police car and escapes the dead-end drive-in in the most awesome way that he can. So that was Dead-End Drive-In. And you know what? I liked it. It's true, the action sequences are quite repetitive, but I found I was enjoying them a lot more than I thought I would. If I had to make one criticism of this film, I'd say that while it has a really likable main character and a fascinating premise, the movie doesn't always know what to do with it. Although that's to be expected when the movie's written by Peter Carey? The godfather of modern Australian literature? I did some research and yes, this movie was partially written by Australian author Peter Carey. The movie is based on his short story Crabs, from his rather mixed quality collection of short stories War Crimes. I should probably be upset that Australia's leading literary figure wrote this film, or at least co-wrote it. But actually, I'm kinda thrilled. Maybe there's hope for all the other screenwriters of mindless action films. I'm giving this movie 3 stars.